You've got Japanese officials on the way to Washington. What has been your advice so far to Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba?
Well, as a matter of fact, we have many cards to negotiate with the U.S. administration. First of all, we are the biggest investor to the United States from the overseas countries. And we have lots of plans to increase investment first. Second, we have the largest holder of the U.S. Treasury bond. That is about $1.1 trillion. So we want to work with the United States. So I think Minister Akazawa should talk about more opportunities for us to invest to the United States. Second, we will keep the at least $1.1 trillion worth of the Treasury bonds because we know the president is so much concerned about the bond market. So, we want to talk about the package of military weapon purchase from the United States over the course of increasing 2% of expenditures against the GDP. So we have many cards. So I'm more or less cautiously optimistic about our negotiations.
Okay. Niinami-san, that's basically just half the story, right? And just to recap for viewers who are just tuning in now, your advice to Prime Minister Ishiba and what is likely to be the position of the team when they meet with U.S. officials is A, you can expect and look forward to more Japanese investment in the U.S., and B, the more than $1 trillion in treasuries that Japan owns. It's safe. We're not going to sell. What is the flip side, though? What is Japan's ask going to be? Because we've seen reports that it's going to be a big ask, and that is that simply U.S. tariffs, all of them, go away. How confident are you that you can achieve that?
Well, I think this time we will not retaliate against those tariffs impositions to Japan. And our ask is let's normalize the relation because we are the biggest ally of the United States. So we want to normalize the relationship, and we want to upgrade the relationship between U.S. and Japan in terms of regional security. That is a big ask from Japan.
Niinami-san, when we look at the global context here in terms of trade, we know that in terms of the U.S. and China, neither have been backing down. Are you concerned here that Washington might be trying to gain a quick victory on trade and potentially using the fact that it knows it's Japan's chief security guarantor here as leverage in these talks to gain more?
I think the relations between U.S. and China will be deteriorating furthermore because eventually I believe that the U.S. administration will target China to in terms of the trade and security. I think I'm optimistic about our positioning as for the U.S.-China relation. But my concern is more or less the U.S. Economy will be moving to the recession, and that will come back to Japan. And the relations between China and U.S. will bring the negative impact to the world economy. So I'm concerned about the recession or stagflation of the United States and U.S. and world economies. So that will affect, Japan quite a lot. And so I hope the president will go for the realities instead of ideals. So I think only the concern is the trade frictions, which will be deteriorated furthermore between China and the U.S. So I don't think U.S. will go to China to negotiate to normalize at this moment.
Niinami-san, I know you wear a couple of hats here, and one of the flashpoints in terms of Japan and the U.S. in terms of trade is the currency, right? The calls that we're hearing from Washington for a stronger yen, it says, to level the playing field. From your vantage point and also your vantage point speaking to other executives, what kind of yen appreciation would be palatable for Japan Inc. without derailing export competitiveness, noting, of course, that we've already seen the yen appreciate quite a bit this year?
Well, that's a great point. I told the Prime Minister and his team that we have to be ready to be attacked or challenged by the United States, especially Secretary Benson, that currency manipulation should be corrected. So we have to be prepared, just like we have to create the markets in Japan so that our private sector can invest in Japan. Because our private sector in Japan still carries as much as $2.1 trillion in as excess cash. So we have to create Japan's market for the private sector, such as the deregulation, because for 30 years, we haven't done anything as for deregulation. So we have to come back to Japan to invest. That's what I'm talking to the Prime Minister and the team. And Japanese corporates are ready to invest, such as green innovation, such as healthcare innovation, such as energy innovation. So a lot of chances for us to invest, including AI and digital innovation, which haven't happened in this country for many years. But the world, the economy of this country, in terms of its landscape, has changed from deflation to inflation. So that means a lot for the private sector of Japan.
And how do you feel in the big picture that, we easily say that Japan is a major U.S. ally country in the region, that it will be perhaps a siding with the United States is really the easy conception that people in the markets watching Japan could have here. Do you think that it's really come to the point of, for the long term, having to make that choice between the U.S. and China?
Well, first of all, we will be investing to self-defense, working with the United States by bringing more weapons from the United States. That means we are committed to raising our deterrence capabilities, working with the United States. Over the course of increasing our budget of defense from 1% to 2% by 2027, and U.S. will play a key role with us. So that is a huge commitment. Secondly, we will have more dialogue with China, because we lost the dialogue with China, but we want to have more open dialogue with China to find some kind of opportunities for keeping trade and perhaps more trade, except the economic security area.